John Corrales.
Brad, I mean, at this point, what do you do? Like you've gotten 3 straight losses on this road trip, and there wasn't the defensive effort to stop them from getting open threes. What do you do as a coach to turn this around?
I mean, clearly that's the charge, that's the responsibility, and it was 30-27, I think, with 1:49 left in the third, and we had already got hit by a barrage of shot making from Young, but we were just kind of hanging in there. And then they just unloaded on us with Gallinari making all those shots. And they were, like you said, not as well defended as we need to. I just told them in the locker room, nobody's happy about how things are going. We have 4 games before break, and these 4 games, from a mental energy and a physical energy and everything we have, are as pivotal of 4 games as we'll play all season. So our focus will go to that. This is a tough one, but if anything, I think that first 2 games on the trip, we gave ourselves a chance. Tonight, we never did. Obviously, very frustrating.
Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad. Obviously, now it's become more mental. Are your messages getting through to this team? Are you going to have to do something different in terms of how you approach this, coach, speak in the locker room? Are you going to have to become a screamer? Not that you aren't already, but are you going to have to do something different? Because it just seems like something it's a disconnect there.
Well, I would say, Gary, what I say to you and everyone else is not what I say in the locker room necessarily. And how you say it is certainly very important. And I'll have had my moments, let's put it that way. That said, I think this team looks like right now it's balancing playing unconfidently and unsure with the fact that we've had a couple that slipped away. And so the only way I know to get that back is to dive on the floor, is to take charges, is to sprint to help your teammates up, is to fight for every single possession. And that's our charge. And I don't know how to say it any more clearly than that, but it'll be said in whatever way it needs to be said. And we just need to find, make sure that we're doing our job. Listen, none of us are happy with the job that we have done. And I should be first and foremost on that list with where we are. That said, I also realize that we're in a situation where we have a lot of guys going through it for the first time, and there is a confidence to winning that you gain from earning winning. And we have a lot of guys that haven't done that. We have some that have. And, we'll make sure that we do everything we can to earn that confidence with our work.
Adam Himmelsbach.
Brad, what have you seen, from this group? I mean, you talk about it with players who have been through it before and those who haven't, but that makes you confident and makes you believe that they can figure it out and that they can turn it around?
Well, first of all, I think when full, I think it looks different. Secondly, our best players have been there at a high level in the most meaningful scenarios and have had real moments. And so, it's not like you're pointing to some blank canvas that nobody's lived before. These guys have, specifically Jalen, Jason, Kimba, Marcus, when he gets back, those guys have lived it. And so there's a lot of guys that haven't, and we need to help them get there sooner rather than later. But it's, I think those of us that have been fortunate enough to be in those moments, and most importantly, the players are what give me a great belief that, you know, we can be a lot better than we've been.
Jared Weiss.
Right. Going back to the messaging aspects, you know, obviously a head coach is responsible for setting the tone, but a huge part of it is having systems of accountability throughout the organization and the roster. And do you feel like that's a bigger challenge this year because there's so much youth on the bench? And do you feel like right now the team has those accountability systems in place?
I just don't feel like, I think it's more of a, like, we just need to, you know, do all of our stuff better, right? It's not like when something is said by players, by assistants, by whoever, by me, like I think we're all stung and disappointed with how we played. I think that's, again, affected the confidence of the group. And instead of like fighting, scratching, and clawing, we've had moments where we haven't. And we have to get back to that. So this team has it in them. And I've been lucky enough to be there before with them. And I know I know what they have in them. And these next 4 games will tell us a lot about where we can go.
John Corrales.
Right. Obviously, there isn't one single player that can turn this around, but how much do you guys really miss Marcus Smart on the floor? I mean, he was on the bench, he got a tech, so he's obviously involved, but being on the floor and being able to organize guys, how much is that hurting you guys?
Well, number one, it's twofold. And I don't want to, you asked me the question, so this should not be taken out of context as making an excuse, right? So we should play better than we have without him. Number one, what he brings to the table is obvious on both ends of the court. It's statistically backed up. It's just anybody that watches basketball knows that, right? The second part is that it makes it so that your rotations, you always have 2 of those guys in the game. And so that's obvious, something that has been hurtful, but it's no excuse for not finding a way to win the New Orleans game. It's no excuse for, not being a couple possessions yesterday, better possessions yesterday. And we may have gotten beat tonight anyways, because sometimes you get hit with a flurry of haymakers in the NBA like these guys did to us tonight, but we could have been in a better position had we played better.
Final question for Coach Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad. Young throwing the ball off of Grant's back to score the bucket. Them kind of measuring how far they can shoot threes. When teams find vulnerabilities, they take advantage. There's no forgiveness in this league. Do the players watch that, and do you let them sink that in? Do you point that stuff out that teams are literally trying to embarrass you at this point when they see that you're slipping or not playing well?
Well, this is an unforgiving league, right? I mean, you've watched it for a long time. You've seen all this. Like the minute you have you have issues, people are trying to take advantage of it. When you have something on the court that people feel like they can expose or exploit, they're going to do that over and over and over and over until you change. But that said, the play by Trey was just a really heads up play. That's not like, that is what it is. But the deep threes and everything else, on a lot of nights you feel pretty good about those shots, but tonight you didn't because they all went in. So, first of all, I think anybody can win on any given night in the NBA against anyone. That's been proven time and again. But when you have shown some of the vulnerabilities that we've shown, then you have to earn it back with your play and your effort and your intensity and better coaching and all the stuff that goes into this.
All right, we'll wrap it up right there. Thanks, Coach.